Hi, Martin. Thanks for agreeing to have a chat with me about AMS Helix and your journey over the last, well, it's not even 2 years yet, quite, is it? And the little part that I've had in it, which I must say I've really enjoyed. To start with, could you just give us a bit of background about the company, how it came to be, and the size it's now grown to?
Yeah, sure. And I think your part's been more than little, Andy. So don't undersell yourself. But so no, AMS Helix was created as a kind of bespoke design, project management, consultancy type business in the data center industry, or what we call the digital infrastructure industry. We felt there was a gap in the market for a particular sector of data center to help kind of new clients navigate their way around in terms of operational strategy, life cycle strategy, help customers make acquisitions. So I jumped out of a corporate, as did my partner Clive, and we, jumped on board and leveraged our relationships and just really dove straight into the detail of trying to deliver complex solutions for our customers' challenges.
Yeah. Okay, good. And so, I mean, the company's grown very quickly. It's not even 2 years old yet, is it? And you've already got about 20 employees on the payroll, I think. And very unusually sold the business in the meantime after just over a year. Yeah.
Yeah, so we informally started in June 21, but the formal launch of the business wasn't until September, and you're correct. 15 months later, we had sold the business. So we grew rather quickly. And that's like sentiment to the people we had in the business, the focus on the outcome for the customer experience. I think we probably didn't focus on some other things that we just knew were going to be okay, namely one of them being finance. And I don't mean that from a reckless perspective, but from the very beginning, we felt we had a kind of cash strength business, and just the way we transacted some projects. So we probably didn't take the level of focus that we maybe should have from day one. But then again, I think day one was about being in front of customers and demonstrating capability to actually to be able to deliver the projects. I don't think we were reckless at all in terms of finance, but our focus wasn't on that part of the business. It was on pricing and making profit, but it wasn't on the transactional kind of back end.
Yeah.
A normal business would grow. But I got one piece of advice from somebody I value well in leadership, and he said, run your business like it's $1 billion business from day one. So we tried to have some sort of structure to the way we made decisions, the quality of documents that went out the door, the kind of internal meetings and strategy and staying aligned. And we focused a lot on marketing as well, to kind of enhance the brand. And I think, today we are about 20 people.
Yeah, I mean, the structure that you had when I first started, which was after about 9 months, I think, of being in business, was way above what would normally be there. But I guess that's also partly because you and Clive, had roles in much bigger corporates and knew what they were doing and how you wanted to sort of run your business from the picking the best bits that you had from that experience, I guess. What were the main challenges then? Why was it? I mean, I think your accountant introduced us, didn't he, and suggested that we have a chat. What was it that you felt you needed from the finance side at that beginning?
I think it wasn't our accountant, right? It was Baker Tilly who were supporting
an accountant who was helping you with the VAT.
With some VAT,
complicated VAT.
Complex things, trying to transact business in places of Europe. I just felt we were very quickly getting to the size that we needed some strong financial kind of support, somebody who could come in, understand the business quickly, and give us some guidance on some of our financial strategy about the things we're kind of doing, the things we're selling. And equally, it was nice for somebody like you to come into a business and look with a clean pair of eyes of, okay, guys, you started here, you're now here. Have you, you're asked a dozen questions that half of them were, well, I don't know, we haven't done that yet, or we haven't thought about that yet. So it was nice. And I think the business was probably at the right size to bring in that kind of FD type experience, both for me and Clive. And I think there's the other aspect of that is it allowed us to continue focusing on the business and have some comfort that somebody like yourself was managing the back end.
Yeah. So what were the sort of solutions that you sort of had to those challenges, and what was how did it help?
So
the sounding boards, you've already mentioned, it's sort of, someone just to run things past who's perhaps looking at it from a different perspective to you and Clive.
Yeah, so management accounts is just something we didn't have. We had a junior finance person in the business who made sure invoices went out in time, were chased.
Important stuff, yeah.
Like all that stuff to make sure like the cash was in the bank. But we just, we didn't understand, and we didn't have any responsibility for monthly reporting or quarterly reporting, but it was something, I think. So it was a challenge that we didn't see, that when you came in, we were able to put some strategy around revenue recognition on some kind of larger projects, start to create some management accounts, like understand our cash flow projections, just stuff we had never looked at or never had to look at in that time. And I think, one of the probably biggest things was, not long after you came on board, we started talking about a potential kind of acquisition. So I think, I don't think we could have done it without you, for sure. And I think you understood the business, very quick, and were able to give guidance that, things that we just wouldn't even have considered, have you not? So I think all round it's probably the day-to-day kind of management account and some strategy around, profitability and revenue recognition, as well as just being able to advise and be part of the strategy and the decisions that were made to kind of further enhance and grow the business.
Yeah. Good. And what were the results of all that then? What did you gain out of it, would you say?
So we gained, I gained more sleep because
that's an important thing.
I didn't have to worry about some things that previously I had taken responsibility. And, just to put it in perspective, there was only two partners. Clive focused on delivery, day-to-day projects, operations, and I focused on, sales, marketing, back office, all the functions that kind of make the business work. So I think, when I look back, we became more structured, more stable. I think probably a greater understanding of profitability, and with that, kind of direction, our business continued to grow, and I think we all understood it a lot more. Control is probably something that we were definitely not out of control, but we became more in control of our business. There was a level of forecasting that we were able to do. Sorry, having you on board, that we weren't able to do in the past. And I think just everybody, certainly myself and Clive, just a much greater understanding of not just our numbers, because that certainly happened, but just our business and where it was and where it was going. So no downside, I think. Everything you brought to the business improved turnover, profitability, control, and just a functioning finance team, because you gave some guidance to some other people in the team as well in terms of how they were doing things.
Yeah, good. I mean, it definitely wasn't out of control. I mean, for a business as young as it was, I mean, the controls you'd already put in place were way above your years, I think. I was impressed. So what would you say is the biggest win then over the last 18 months or so? What's
It's definitely being able to sell the business, right? And you know, there's a reason behind selling the business. We grew fairly big, fairly quickly. We had a couple of large customers that were on a journey of growth on their own. And I think, you know, listening to them telling us that we had to maybe find a way to grow inorganically if we wanted to remain their number one partner, just given the size of our business and the time that we were in business. So that's what set us about looking for something. But to be able to go through the level of due diligence, both financially, legally, all of that with somebody like you on board just took away. I'm not going to say all the pain and angst because
no, it certainly didn't do that.
when you sell your business, it's emotional if you're, you know, a significant stakeholder and you've been part of it from day one. But
yeah,
without a doubt, selling the business is, you know, has been the biggest win, and having you as part of that team was phenomenal, to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think the normal sort of advice is that if you want to sell a business, then you need 3 years to prepare it. You know, you got to get all your stuff in ready for due diligence. You know, perhaps change some supplier contracts and customer contracts, and make yourself redundant and all those sort of things. And yeah, you did it in a few months, really, which is mad. So it's not surprising that it was a bit.
And it's a credit to the team, you know, to
yeah.
you, to, you know, people like Emma and stuff that were just able to lean in and everything. And I think for me, immensely proud that we could come through that process as a company that were only 14, 15 months old.
Yeah.
With credibility, and, you know, I think you brought a lot of that.
Good. Okay, and finally, can you just give me 3 sort of tips for someone who might be looking to do the same sort of journey? What would you do differently, or what would you advise yourself 2 years ago?
Oh, I've still got PTSD from, like, no, I'm kidding. But I think never feel you're too far into the process to press the pause button or slow it down. You know, it's your business, it's your people, and, you know, ultimately, you know, you're trying to take your business to another level to grow, and it just, you know, that don't be rushed into a kind of timeline is probably one of them.
Yeah.
Looking back, there's probably a couple of things that we were so far down the road, we thought, well, you know, we can't slow down now. It's like just, and maybe saying, you know, yes or no to things that, you know, the answer might have been different had you felt maybe a bit more empowered. Certainly for me, it was my first time around, you know, being acquired personally. I think professional services, like, 100% use the professional services you need for every aspect of it. And I mean that from, you know, the stuff that you provided us, the kind of tax advisors, you know, legal, all of that stuff, you know, even to the extent of let them maybe take the lead in some components to take some of the emotion out of it for, you know, the business owners, I think is probably another key one. And I think understanding the business that you're joining is really important. And when I say understand the business you're joining, I probably mean understand, you know, truly what their aspirations are, what, you know, how they want to grow, how they see their business evolving, and what's next for them as well. Are you, you know, one of 5 acquisitions, or are you one of 1 type thing? So just, I think, understanding where you fit in that business, and is just making sure the kind of cultural alignment, you know, is there between your businesses. So yeah,
it's important. Yeah.
I wouldn't do it terribly different, but I think, you know, those key things, never feeling under pressure, professional services, and just like really understand, you know, where you're bringing your business to land and your people, because, you know, ultimately, you know, I said at the beginning, we're a project management consultancy business. our people are our assets, right? There's no products that we sell. We sell, you know, people and their services into our customers. So I think that's important.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you.